The following program may contain strong language and mature content. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, and welcome. Happy Wednesday. If you are a returning guest, thank you for being back. If you are new, thank you for joining us. Welcome to She Is Shenomenal. I am your host, Tasha Champion, the Shenomenal Coach of Champion Empowerment. Always teaching you to love the champion you are. And I know I say it every week. I'm so excited, but I do. I really love the guests that I am blessed to have on my show. And today we will be talking to Kiana Shaw, 5-time best-selling author, speaker, certified parenting coach. Now, I personally call her the teen whisperer because I don't know what she does with these teenage girls, but proof is in the pudding. She can bridge that gap between screaming crazy teenager, mom who doesn't understand why the teenager is going crazy, and she just brings them together in love and understanding. It is like her gift from God. It's her magic. It is her superpower. So she's going to talk to you guys about that. So if you've got teenagers, if you're a mom, if you are just like, what the hell with my teenage daughter? What is going on? Why is she changing? Why is she so into everything that's going on in the world instead of in her own personal life? Like, this is the episode you want to listen to. So I'm excited to have her. But before we get into that, there is something that I just want to share with you guys. And hopefully this is a reminder. For some people, it may feel brand new. For other people, it'll be a reminder. Listen. I know that families are loving and fun and joyful, and you love that togetherness, okay? But what I want you to remember is you are not deserving of anybody toxic in your life, anybody that has a divisive spirit, anybody that is manipulative. Like, there's so many people out here that's ready to love on you and have fun with you and just be in joy and respect that you're different from them, but still love you for those differences. And a lot of times we get caught up in this mentality of, well, it's family, but this person is family, but I can't, what am I supposed to do? It's family. No, what that's saying is because we are blood, you get to crap all over me or treat me any kind of way. And that's not true. And you got to understand that you are far more valuable, more worthy, and more loving than someone who would use their manipulative tactics to actually be in a relationship with you, family, friends, or not. So make sure that if you are a person that's of love and that just enjoys life, allow the people to come into your life that are the same way, because all of this discord that some of these people are creating, it's not worth it for you. And all it does is leave you in like a puddle of tears. It leaves you in a puddle of hurt. And then you're wondering, why am I feeling like this? It's because you're trying to save face for the sake of the word family. So I like to say family is not who or what you were born into. It is who showed up in your life to respect you, to show you kindness, to treat you with love, to treat you with respect, and then to honor that, hey, we're different, but that's why I love you. So I hope that helps. And I hope that if there's anybody toxic in your life, you realize today, I am worth more than your toxicity and I got to go. All right. All right. So that was just what I wanted to share with you guys today. Love on yourself the most. Anyway, we're gonna take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, we're gonna talk to Kiana Shaw. She is like such an incredible, Shenomenal woman, and she's here to really drop some knowledge on how do you bridge that gap between teenage daughter where they think they feeling themselves and all this stuff, but also what are the moms doing that we can make some shifts to help bridge that gap as well. It's not always the teenager, it's not always the mom. So where do we meet in the middle? And we'll be right back to talk with Kiana Shaw with how to do that. All right, we are back and we are going to go ahead and bring in Kiana Shaw, who I like to call the Teen Whisperer. Hello, Miss Kiana.
Hey, Tasha, how you doing?
I am so fantastic. I've been waiting to have you on the show, and I knew that now was the perfect time. Teenagers about to go back to school. I mean, just so much happening in the world. And I mean, again, I call you the Teen Whisperer, but that's what I truly believe you are. So just to get started, tell everybody a little bit about you, but how did you begin working with teenage girls? Like, how did that become your ministry?
Oh my goodness. So I'm Kiana Shaw, CEO of Kiana Shaw Enterprises, which houses my training and development company, KRS Training and Development. I am a mom and a daughter and a sister. Like, I have all the titles, right? And coming through with being a best-selling author and goodness, like I don't even have my own bio. Like you have it. Like, but coming through with all those things, I started working with teen girls back in 2008. And it started out a heartbreak, to be honest. I found out that my boyfriend of 4 years had been cheating on me for 2.
Wow.
And I was heartbroken, and just in talking to a mentor, I was like, I don't know what to do without him. Like I started thinking of like how much he consumed my life. Like, when did he have time to cheat, right? But but in that, I've discovered that all my life I had been the woman who and the girl, right? Because it started when I was a teenager, who kind of just lost myself in my relationships, right? If I had a man, my friends didn't hear from me, right? I was that chick. And so in finding this, in this relationship ending, I found me, right? And I really wanted to just help teen girls not become the woman I had become. That was where it came from.
Wow. So how did you transition? Because since I've known you, it's been about bridging that gap between teenagers and moms. And I know, I have one daughter, and I want to say that we had a little spat one time, and then everybody started having their act right juice on deck. So how did you go from just teaching young girls how to be number one in their life to bridging that gap between mother and daughter and establishing a relationship of trust, of love, like creating that foundation? How did you transition to that?
So what ended up happening was, as I was working with the high school girls, I would meet their parents. I would walk them out to the car, or, well, tell your mom to come in. I want to meet her, that type of thing. And as I would go to their houses to pick them up, whatever the case may be, I found that the moms would be like, you know what, you acting up? I'm calling Coach Kiana. It would be that type of thing. And so I started to find that I was getting so many calls from moms, right? I did a whole conference, not a conference, but I did an event called Real Talk with Real Men for the girls. And none of the girls showed, all the moms showed, right?
Wow.
And so what I realized was that they needed to be able to communicate with me, right? So I created a book called I Choose to Be a Lady, right? It was lessons for our teen daughters. And it was so that moms could like have something that they could give to their daughters to help. Because you know how like when you're young, your mom tells you something 100 times, but then that favorite auntie come and she tell you, and you like, yeah. And your mom be like, I've been saying that for 5 years, right? So in that situation, I realized that I was that favorite auntie for these girls, and their moms were calling me. And so what I ended up doing was creating a book so that I could have a bigger outreach without people calling me all the time, right? Because now I have my daughter, and I need to pour time into my girl just like I pour time into your girl, right? And it just kind of developed from there. After the book and still working with the girls, I decided that moms needed a place where they could vent, where they could kind of message one another and have a nice community for one another. And so I created Mothers Raising Teen Daughters on Facebook. And right now we are just under 23,000 members strong. Wow. And when I say 23,000 members, I mean, in that about 16,000 are active community members, meaning within a month's time, they share, they post, they're supportive to one another. And so it's amazing. It's an amazing group that has kind of taken off on its own.
Yeah, I do see that. I am in that group as well. And the posts are anything from, okay, I just want to love on my daughter more, to my daughter hates me, to, oh my God, I want nothing else to do with my daughter. She's so selfish. Now, I'm pretty sure as the teen whisperer, as I call you, you hear a lot, my daughter's so selfish, my daughter's so selfish. Are teenagers really selfish, or are they just in a place where they are trying to identify and discover who they are in this big world?
Well, it's not either or, it's both and, right?
Okay.
It's both and, because yes, they are privileged, but they're also entitled, right? That's not their fault though. Like if we allow that's what they're going to do, right? They are trying to discover themselves and trying to create their own deep independence, where moms are trying to have dependence, right? Because we're used to doing everything. We're used to, tying their shoe. We're used to cooking them dinner. They're getting to that age where they want their independence, and no one is really connecting the interdependence, where we have to work together. Think like a group project. We've all been on a group project, right? And there was somebody who didn't pull their weight. So when we are too busy, we're not pulling our weight. When we are, consumed with significant others, we're not pulling our weight. When we don't speak life to our daughters, we're not pulling our weight, right? And in return, right, because what we put in them from 0 to 5 is what play out from 6 to 18. Like,
wow.
Fight me on that if you want to, right? So I know somebody's like, no, but it really is. And so when they're looking for their independence, they go, okay, well, since you're so busy, or since you work a lot, it doesn't have to be a significant other. You might be like, I'm trying to put food on the table. And so they go into reaching out to other people. That's how they stop pulling their weight. They don't want to clean up anymore, right? There was a time where she wanted to help you do all the dishes, right? She was in the way cleaning up. Now she doesn't want to do it. Now she doesn't understand why she can't get paid to do it, right? And
Mhm.
these are things that create that happen because there's a breakdown of the interdependence. We got to start allowing our girls to have a little bit of independence, right, under our monitoring, right? I believe in setting parameters, and you have plenty of space and freedom within these parameters, but also getting them to understand that there is a reason. When we don't share why we're saying no, then they just rebel. They have friends in their ears that say, "Oh, your mom is just strict. Oh, like, my mom lets us drink, so we're not going to your mom's house," right? And so having that opportunity to explain to your daughter, so let me tell you why you can't go to this backyard boogie, right?
Right.
Because usually they end in these things here. Let me tell you my experience, because our daughters kind of think, okay, that's mom, but we didn't come out 30, 40 years old. Like, we had to go from 0 to 30, you know what I mean? So
Right. Right.
they don't see us as having shared experiences. They don't listen. And that's anybody. When we date, we look for people with shared experiences, right? Things we can talk about. But if we just say, because I said so, that's not communicating.
And that's what we typically do because it's what was said to us. Because I said so, do as I say, not as I do. And I remember, I want to say my daughter, she's now 22, when she was about 4, she asked me something and I just said no. No explanation, nothing. I just said no. And she said, "But why?" And I almost went, mama on her, where I was like, "Are you
Who you
questioning?"
asking why?
And she said, at the time, she called me Tasha, and she said, "Tasha, I just want to understand why you said no." And it was in that moment that I was like, you know what? If I'm not explaining to her why I'm saying no, she's never going to understand, why she can't do things or why she can't have things.
One of the things that we do as parents is that we don't explain to our children how to come to us in the moment where they have questions, right? So one of the things that my daughter and I have discovered about one another is she's going to ask questions and she knows that she can ask, but she better do what I told her first, right? So our rule is, you don't have to like it. Go do it. Come back to me and say, "Mom, I don't understand this," or "I don't like that," right? Then we can have a conversation, because in the moment it's disrespectful and it's defiant, right? But if you go do it and then you come back to me, we can sit and have questions. Like, you know what I'm saying? We drink water out of wine glasses and everything. Like, you know what I mean? And we can sit there like big girls and we can just have this conversation. I do that with a 9-year-old. So if that way, when she's 15, I don't have to have this combative relationship.
Do you feel like some moms are afraid to share their experiences with their child, especially if they were like a little more wild and they're trying to hold that in secrecy? Why do you feel like it's important, and how do you encourage your moms to share that part of them with their daughters?
So here's the thing, like, when you're trying to raise your daughter to be a lady, right, which I am, you really don't want to talk about your thought years, right? You really don't want to talk about, how many partners you've had, or those days where you snuck out of your house yourself, right? There's a lot, raising my daughter in the Christian religion, like, she's like, "Well, how I get here if you can't have sex before marriage?" So, you know what I mean? So it's like, we don't hide it. Like, okay, so listen, so mommy didn't listen, right? Like, and let me tell you what the consequences were, right? Because I have to explain that, like, your dad and I aren't together because we did not do it correctly. And that's not the story for everybody. Do not at me, right? But but at the same time, like, being open, right? So I created the book, A Mother's Diary. And in that book, it was stories from, I think, 14 or 15 women, right? You were in that anthology. And we were sharing just chapters. I talked about my first boyfriend and the STDs he gave me, and me being so in love and losing you understand what I'm saying? One of the authors talked about being at a club, just her and her girlfriends just hanging out. And all of a sudden, they were all like, they don't remember getting home. She said she remembers putting her head on her steering wheel to drive home because she couldn't hold it up. The bartender drugged them. right?
Wow.
If we don't share these kind of stories with our daughters, they don't know that they exist with us. They think that we're just being overprotective. They think that we're not understanding, and life is different. I know life is different. Life is so much worse, right?
Different these days.
Absolutely. And we don't give them the benefit of the doubt with that. We don't say, like, listen, because we tell our kids, you don't have stress. You don't have no bills. Let me tell you something. We had to worry about gangs going back and forth to school. They have to worry about people coming in school shooting them.
Right.
They got stress. They have the same final stress that we had. They have the same expectations from our parents' stress that we had. They got stress.
And yet we don't identify it.
We don't. And we say they have attitudes when really they have anxiety. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. We say she just thinks she's just trying to figure out life. And if you're not guiding her and all you're doing is telling her that she thinks she's something, insert whatever adjective, that's not okay.
Right. So talk to the moms out here. How do you foster that safe space for your daughter to be able, and understand, when I say daughter, I understand you might have teenage sons, so we just mean children, but we're talking about daughter to mom here. Right. So talk to the moms, tell them, how do you foster that nurturing or loving safe space that their daughter can come to them and know that they can come to them? Because see, we say all the time, oh, you can talk to me about anything. But the energy that we're putting out there is like, you better not come tell me nothing like that. So how do we foster that safe environment for our daughters?
So get into what they're into, right? If your daughter likes watching anime, go sit down and watch it with her. What harm is it that you can't watch, Snowfall? Just go watch it with her. It's okay to do it that way, right? Also, understand that they need the conversation. Right. We crave it as women. Like, I don't know why we don't connect how we feel with our husbands. I want to talk. You've been out all day, and then you come in the house and then you just be on the phone with your friends. They feel the same way.
Good point.
We gotta connect.
Yeah.
We can't say we don't have a relationship and you have not spent any time connecting. And sometimes, listen, I'm 43. Sometimes I do want to go and just lay on my mother's shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I got to make sure I don't do it when she's hot flashing, but if I catch you at the right time, right? But I got to be mindful with my daughter because I am busy, Tasha. I listen, today was hectic. Mm-hmm. And I still got to finish braiding her hair because school starts tomorrow, right? So I can't cancel on her. You have to be mindful. Stick to that's your number one commitment. Stick to your commitments with your daughters. Stick to those moments. Like, don't forget if you got so right now Sundays are our days. Kayla don't give up her Sundays. Like, Sunday is movie day and popcorn day, and I don't care who call. If it ain't grandma, we ain't talking, right?
Right.
So she is very and I give her that permission.
Okay.
You can say, Mommy, put your phone down because it's my time. Because I can answer one email, and that email might take me into another email. And now I done clicked on the link. I'm back on Facebook, and now we going to TikTok. And
right. So we start going down that rabbit hole, and then we've lost 20 minutes of the time that we can give because we just simply have that phone in our hands.
And we're tired because we've been doing so much stuff. And she's going, but you didn't do nothing with me.
So what do you say? I know we got to go to commercial soon, but what do you say to that mom that's watching that's like, tell me that I can't put my phone down? I wish my child would. What do you say to that mom?
I say, think about how you feel when your significant other is always walking around like this. I am listening.
Wow. That puts its perspective right there. That puts it into perspective. Wow. All right. We're going to take a quick commercial break. And when we get back, I want to dive into a little bit more about mothers raising teen daughters. What has it taught you? What are some of the stories, obviously minus the names, and how are you using mothers raising teen daughters in your own household and the work that you do outside your home. So we'll be back and we're going to continue talking with Kiana Shaw, the Teen Whisperer. All right, we are back. We are speaking today with Kiana Shaw. She is a certified parent coach. I call her the Teen Whisperer because of the way that she bridges the gap between teenage daughters and their moms. And with that, she has birthed a group of over 20,000 moms and mothers raising teen daughters. If you are a mom and you have that teenage daughter at home and you don't know about that group, head on over to Facebook, click join so that she can let you in. Now, Kiana, you know, we see stories all day. Mm-hmm. Some of the stories I'm like, OMG. But what, you know, before I even ask that, what are some of your memorable stories where you were just like either compassionate or straight up, okay, let me tell you what Coach K is getting ready to tell you about this whole situation you just posted about?
Wait, with the teens or with the with the moms?
With the moms, because the moms are the ones that are just, I mean, I'm so glad they have this safe space to not feel judged, because a lot of times we're not divulging what we're experiencing out of fear that we're going to be judged. But right. Share like some of the things that you've seen inside of that, where it's either I got to go compassion or I need to like really give you this Coach K speech.
So first of all, I want to say in a group of 23,000 people, there's bound to be at least 300 mean girls, right? And so sometimes the moms do feel attacked because those mean girls can pounce at one time. It's like they text each other, right? And so I have to, you know, regulate and go through and make sure that, you know, we are keeping the group a safe space, because it's difficult. You know, people don't want to have to share and then have somebody pounce on them, right? So, but there have been moments where I'm like, I'm gonna just let them pounce because I don't understand, right? Now I have to be, you know, professional, right? But there are moments where I feel that way. So we had one story maybe 3 years ago now, where a mom, you know, said that her daughter got upset and threw a tumbler cup at her head and broke her jaw. Now, Coach K is like, so are you emailing us or messaging us from the morgue? Were you identifying the body? Are you sitting in jail? Like, I need more parameters around this conversation, right?
Right.
But at the same time, I understand that everybody is on this journey and they're in different places. There are moms who are like, I don't understand how y'all so weak, but you haven't been in this situation, right? Some of the moms are dealing with the regret of not staying or the guilt of leaving, whatever the case may be. And then, you know, you have moms who are, you know, like, look, I'm a single mom and I got to figure this out. And her dad isn't helping, or, you know, she has turned my family against me because I don't discuss what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So you have all those. So people are in different stages of parenting. And until you have been in a place where you've had to tell your child, I could put you through college or through a wall, you pick. So I know what we're doing. Right. So, like what is it? You can meet Kiana or you can meet Kioki. Like they
Right.
both here.
One or the other.
Here, right. So it can be a hard situation. It really can. But the harder parts for me are the inbox messages that I get, right? So I have a couple of ladies who helped me to monitor the group. And one night, it was like 3 a.m, I get a phone call, and one of the moderators is like, you got to go to the inbox messages. And I go, and this mom is like, she's in Africa, and she's like, I'm going to do a mercy killing. Like, she was really honest. She's like, I'm going to go, and I'm going, like, my daughter is shaming us, right? And we just going to go ahead and take her out tonight, get all this over with by tomorrow morning. So from 3 a.m. until about 4 the next day, or 4 later that day, we were in constant like communication with this mom, and we found somebody in Africa, Johannesburg, Africa, who could go to the compound where she was. She was like, I'm not at home. I'm just kind of like at the strip mall because I've been waiting for her to come home. Like she is shaming our family, right? And so we like, those are the more pressing things. The moms who are in the inbox saying, I can't take another day of this. I need you to call me right now. Like, those are the harder ones because, one, I'm not always available, right? And two, sometimes I need them to speak to a specialist, right? I'm a life coach, but sometimes they need a therapist.
Right, exactly.
And I'm very much aware of where my lane is. And so those are the moments that could be completely crazy for me.
Wow. That's really heavy. And I actually remember when that happened. Because I was like at first I was like, well, is it just talk, like in my head? But I knew from the seriousness of how you were taking it.
Yes.
You knew from the email, from the message, like, no, this is a serious situation. And some people do believe in that. So how do you bring that mom down? And I mean, just really congratulations to you, whether it was yesterday or several years ago, to be able to get up middle of the night and start working your Kiana Shaw MRTD magic to get this woman some help way in Africa. Like, that's huge.
It's not always
and that's
easy.
To be commended.
Thank you. It's not always easy. Like, I've had to go in and reprimand the group members, just go live and just address everybody. Because like, we had one lady who was talking about her daughter had been sexually abused by her husband, confided that into her, and then confided it because she had caught him sexually abusing her brother, right? And the moms they just pounced, and it was because they were triggered. And it was like, you're doing it. And I'm going, first of all, we don't even know what country she's in. Everything that's illegal in America is not illegal everywhere.
Somewhere else, right? So
that was something that I had to like, okay. And aside from that, you don't know. Maybe she's in a rural area and she don't have a car. Maybe, she just got this little internet. Maybe she's doing it from her phone, but you don't know what the situation is. He could be the chief of police. We don't know. We can't just assume, that all these things. And so it can be a challenge, but I'm grateful for the opportunity to guide it, right? You asked me about knowing it was my purpose. Some things God drops into your spirit for a long time, and sometimes he drops into your moment and you have to carry it out forward, right?
Yes.
And so it's hard to have harmony between the group and my businesses and my daughter and my family. It's a lot, but I make it work.
You do.
Prioritize and make it work.
You make it work, and you always make it work with a smile. Like, I mean, obviously I know Kiana on a more personal level, but I probably like her energy is like always the same. I'm like, shouldn't you be tired or going to bed by now? But
I do be. I'm tired right now.
but
I make the commitment.
Right. What, like, when you're chatting with moms and teenage daughters, what is that one thing that is constant, either on the mother side or the teenager side, where it's like you literally could close your eyes and tell them exactly what to do with your eyes closed. You don't even have to get out of bed. Like, what is that one thing that's always constant from moms or daughters?
Ooh, wee. Could you ask a bigger badass question than that? Okay. So I'm gonna say this. With the moms, my general response is you're being a hypocrite. And she sees it. Right? You telling her don't have sex, and she got a different, stepdaddy often. You're telling her don't smoke weed, but you smoke 2 packs of cigarettes a day, right? She sees the hypocrisy, even if you're trying to hide it, right? I remember a mentor saying, just like you have secondhand smoke, you can have secondhand sin, right? Wow. And so the spirit is resting in the house. The spirit, right? When they leave and then they come back, the spirit is resting in the house. And so that hypocrisy can really impact your children. Wow. As it relates to the teen girls, I usually have to check them on like their lack of ability to see things from their mom's side, right? She's not there because she at work. Like, how you gonna eat? You like to eat every day, right? You like to visit beaches, but you don't want to live on one. So there is, a difference there.
Right.
And so getting them to understand that everything is not just about their mom, hating on them. It's like sometimes she got real life stuff to worry about, and you and your make-believe argument with your best friend is just not going to be the priority when she's trying to figure out, how am I going to make these ends meet? Your mom can't be the light in your life when the lights are out in the house. Like, she got to figure out things.
Right. Exactly. So when you hold up the mirror to the mom and it's hypocrisy written all over that mirror, how do moms handle it, and how do they work through it?
So some of them have wanted to fight me, I wear small earrings, like, and sometimes I go, okay, take your swing, but know that that's not going to change your situation. It's not going to change how you and your daughter feel. Like, you can beat up on me. Now, I did learn, right, from one of my mentors, Sharon Cruz, like, get one of them, like, bozo bags where they can hit that. You can kick it. Well, don't hit me because I fight back. But having something to punch sometimes helps, right? But usually they'll listen, but there's a constant reminder that needs to happen because we forget, right? Let's go back to relationships. The same way when our significant other say, you come in and then you just be, candy crushing or Facebooking or whatever, or you get busy, and then we fix it for a couple of days and then we go right back because that is our norm. It's our habit. Wow. We don't even know we're doing it, right? And so it's like, okay, mom, come back and let's. How are you listening this week? What time did you take just for your daughter? Like, did you set a day that's just for her? Did you show her how the bills function? Did you show her that sometimes it's too much month at the end of the money? Like, a lot of parents are like, oh, well, it's not their business how the finances go. But you want them to understand why they can't have new Jordans.
Right.
You need to know.
Yeah, my bonus dad said I had to do that with my sons. Show them what goes out every month. And it does make a difference. It gives them a full understanding, like, damn, that's why she always working. It's a whole lot of bills plus what I want.
Exactly. Yeah. This is why we can't eat out all the time. This is why we can't go to the movies all the time. Like, have you taken the time to show them? Because telling them does not always work. Have you taken the time? Like, my daughter was like, Mom, I think we need a man in the house. Like, it's time. Like, she like, okay. Right.
I love Taylor.
She's like, it's time for you to start dating. Like, and I'm just like, when do I have the time? And so I had to show her, like, dating means that I have to give this much time. Right. If it's going to lead to marriage and all of that, when do you see that? Because I'm taking care of us. Right? I'm taking care of me. I'm taking care of you. Right? So there's levels to it. So if I bring someone into it, that means we're sharing the time. And she don't want to do that. As soon as I say, what, you got to share time, she'd be like, oh, now Never mind.
No.
Wait till I go to college.
So now I want to jump ahead. I want to shift gears for a moment because one of the main questions that I see inside the Mothers Raising Teen Daughter group is the question of social media. What is age appropriate? Should they monitor it? Should they just trust it? And then I see moms are like, oh, well, my daughter blocked me. I can't do it. Now, my sister is a teacher, and she always says, even when you think you've taken social media away from your child, they just have it on their friend's phone. So as the teen whisperer, as the woman who was answering a lot of these questions, I've seen you respond. Tell people like your perspective on how they need to handle social media, because I think sometimes these kids don't understand just how big social media is and the impact it has on their life. So how can moms and daughters work through this social media age?
Okay, so let me answer a couple of questions that you asked. So age, I say wait till they're about 16, 17, to be honest. Like, I know people are like, no, that's too. Trust me when I tell you, the amount of depression in teen girls after dealing with social media is horrible. Okay. Monitoring, if you're going to allow them to have it, monitor it. Make them put it in the bio. This account is monitored by so-and-so's parents, right? The reason for that is because of the amount of pedophiles that approach our children. It is absolutely sickening, right? I was watching a documentary, and within 24 hours of this person posing as an 11-year-old girl, she had over 300 requests from grown men.
Wow.
Stop giving these people access to your kids, right? Do you trust them? No, because they make bad decisions. Think about when you were a teenager. You made horrible decisions, right? Their brain isn't closed yet, right? But here's the compromise. On my phone, you can use it, right? Here's the parameters. This is the time frame, right? But tell them that you're checking it. Don't just go, oh, I'm sneaking to check. No, I don't want to catch you doing bad. I want to catch you doing good. So I'm not going to sneak and check your phone. Bring it here. Bring it here. Whenever I call for it, bring it. I don't care if you in the bathtub and you got to get out and get it, right? And which is another situation. Like, don't allow electronics in your house that have cameras in the bathroom or in their rooms when they're changing. I mean, that's just a no-brainer because people hack phones, right?
All the time.
So those, I forget what your other question was.
You're actually answering all of the questions that I was asking about social media. Like, how do you build that trust around it? How do you, protect your child? But then also just teaching them how to be responsible with it, because again, teenage girls don't realize just how big social media is.
Right. So I remembered my thought. One exercise I do with the girls when I'm talking about attitude, right? And I talk about how our attitude is what we take in, right? Our food, what we eat, what we drink, what we consume visually and audibly, right? All of that is it has to be taken into account when we think about their attitude. So not just, the ulcers they're getting from them hot chips, but also what they see on social media. So I'll tell them to close their eyes so that they have some anonymity. Who has watched, who has been on social media and walked away feeling like they're not enough? Who's been on social media and walked away feeling like they were too fat? Who walked away feeling they were too thin, too skinny? Who walked away feeling that they weren't pretty enough? Who, you know what I'm saying? When you start asking them these questions, they start to see for themselves how toxic that environment is. And if we don't point it out, right, and make them say it, right? They have boyfriends who are on social media and they want to go and see what girls are like. Why do you care?
Right.
Why do you care? Because when we start talking about this dude, like, and I always, I have, the young girls write a list. If you say you want a man, tell me everything you want. And then if you go on to check his social media, go back to the list. Is he the list? Right? So there's all these things that they have to consume on a day-to-day basis if they are not being guided, right? And that's, people say, oh, well, we can't watch everything and they have to have their own experiences. You have to guide them in the right way.
Exactly.
You have to protect them. It's our job. It's literally, and people get attitudes. Oh my God, you're teaching them this, or you shouldn't be teaching them that. They only say it about the things that they disagree with.
Exactly. I agree.
So
Absolutely.
It's your job as the parent to pick and choose, right? Because you're supposed to guide them in the best way you know how. So if that means keeping them away from certain religions, if that means keeping them away from certain TV programs, do what is best for your child.
For your child. Absolutely.
Because somebody who don't love them will say anything.
So now you have Leadership Academy. You also have the Mom Suite. Talk about that for a little bit, because I want definitely for moms to know the programs. And then I know COVID kind of put a pause on it, but you do the Mother Raising Teen Daughter Brunch. But talk to moms, like, what does Coach Kiana Shaw offer that can help that mom of a teenage daughter right now? Or maybe there's a teenage girl that's watching that's like, we need to get Coach Kiana in this house. What is it that you offer that can support and help them?
Okay. So Leadership Academy addresses, and it's online right now, of course, because of COVID. I would love to bring it live, but then it kind of limits how many I can impact, right? Mm-hmm. But Leadership Academy is all about helping them connect their personal development to their professional success. Because when we say that they have bad attitudes, when we say that they need to manage their stress better, they don't see it because it doesn't connect to what they want out of life, right? And so we have to do that balance on that. And so Leadership Academy, I'm trying to figure out if I want to change it a little bit before we go back live, in the sense that I kind of want it to be more of a rites of passage, right? Because KRS Training and Development does the personal the connection of personal development to professional success. And so I'm thinking I want to do more of a rites of passage. Somebody has to teach our daughters that it's not about being bad bees, right? Like at some point we might want to be a wife. So let's talk about at some point, you might be a mom or it's like there's a whole lot of levels to being a woman. And so I kind of want to focus on that a little bit more. So I'm making decisions on that. The Mom Suite is an extension of Mothers Raising Teen Daughters. Mothers Raising Teen Daughters is the massive free group, right? The Mom Suite is a paid membership program, but it allows the moms to really connect with one another and get I won't say one-on-one advice, but I do, a Q&A, and I do a membership. A master class, and then there's digital downloads, and then monthly there's like a she shack, right? Like where we could just kind of hang out, right? I show up, my hair's in a ponytail at the top, like it's a bonnet, not a bonnet, but a bun type of day, and so that they have the opportunity to have closeness and connection with me, and with one another in a smaller environment where they really don't feel judged, where they really aren't judged, because the moms are repeatedly reminded, this is a sacred place. This is a place where we can connect and share our experiences. And it's not about you being dumb or stupid or anything like that. It's more so about having the resources and the opportunity to share with somebody who needs to hear it.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And what special are you running for moms to join the Mom Suite right now?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. So between now and Sunday, they can go to themomsuite.com and they can join at 50% off. So if they join the monthly program, then they can just use code Tasha for their 50% off. And if they decide that they want to do the yearly membership, they can do code Tasha 365. So Tasha 365 for the yearly, and then just Tasha for the monthly.
My name has power, y'all. Y'all better go on and join. My name is giving y'all good discounts over here. All right, so we are going to take a quick commercial break. We've come to the end, but when we come back, Kiana will tell you guys how you can reach her, how you can follow her. She's going to give you all of her contact information so y'all can stay in touch and work with her or just follow her to show you how to build that mother-daughter beautiful relationship. And I promise, I have a teenage daughter, and I have a daughter who was a teenager, I should say, and she's a sweet, beautiful girl. We have a very good relationship. You know, during her teenage years, we had to have some hard conversation and some talks, but I promise it does get better, and you guys really can build that best friend type relationship of love and respect with one another. And Kiana can help you with that. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back and we'll finish up. All right, everybody, we have come to the end of our show today. Kiana, I'm so grateful that you were here and present and chatting with how we can build these better relationships with our teenage daughters. And honestly, what she talked about, you can use with your teenage sons as well. But Kiana, quickly tell people how they can reach you, how they can be a part of your Teen Whisperer tribe. Okay.
I've been getting a lot of text messages like, we like the Teen Whisperer. So you may have created something here. So on Instagram, I am Coach Kiana Shaw. I believe that's my TikTok name. I tried to log in and it was like, what's your birthday? I was like, we ain't got time for that. But you can find me if you are a mother raising a teen daughter, or an auntie or a grandma who is helping to raise a teen daughter. Just go to Facebook, Mothers Raising Teen Daughters, and join. Answer the questions, give your email so that you can stay up to date with things that are going on, and get ready for my podcast. We're literally in the beginning stages. We haven't even named it yet, but we'll be doing a parenting podcast for parents, right? Moms and dads on that one. So yeah, just Kiana Shaw on Facebook. You can follow me. I don't know how many friends I can add at this point, but like if you can't, you can still push follow because everything is public.
Right. Yes. All right. Wonderful. Thank you so much for being my guest today. I know that parents learned a lot. I mean, you know, I still continue to learn. I'm raising my boys now. So we're at the end. Make sure you join next week. We will be speaking with Crystal Morganfield, CEO of TLC Senior Services, and she's going to be chatting with us about the care you need to be mindful of as your loved one is becoming elderly, making sure they have the proper care and what you need to be aware of. So make sure you're back here next Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific on She Is Shenomenal. And Kiana, thank you for being such a Shenomenal woman. I'll see you guys next week.
Bye.